So this project is a 4-bedroom terrace I've just bought in Newark to turn into a rental. It was originally listed at £280,000, and after a fairly painful 7-month process, I managed to get it agreed at £213,000. The plan is to turn it into a solid 4 double-bedroom professional let with a few fairly sensible layout changes. In the last video, I mapped out the floor plan, measured everything up, and started the prep work. So that was sanding the walls, stripping wallpaper, and knocking down the wall upstairs, so we can split the front of the house into 2 proper double bedrooms. But in this episode, this is where the real building work starts. We're framing new stud walls, moving radiators, fixing a structural problem in the floor where the old central heating install had cut through all the floorboards, and finally getting the electrics ready for the new layout. So there's quite a bit going on in this one. Structural fixes, first fix electrics, insulation, plasterboarding, and starting to frame out the new downstairs WC. Let's get into it. So we're going to start by framing out the different rooms. Let's begin with the ensuite. We're starting to mark out where we want the wall to be, and I was planning it so it was about 1.8 meters away from each corner with space for a door in between on an angle. So you can see us using the laser level here, and we're doing vertical lines just to make sure that it's completely level all the way up. We need to cut through the coving and cut through the skirting board as well to fit the stud in. Now these aren't weight bearing at all. The only thing they're bearing is the plasterboard and the plaster on top, obviously with paint and stuff too. But in terms of the structure of the building, there's no weight on top. So when it comes to building out stud walls, you don't need to do anything incredibly precise. It's more get thick enough studs for your purpose and make sure that you have your studs spaced out either 400 or 600 apart. So this is the 5th bedroom, the lovely 5th bedroom for the house. So as I say, we're moving these radiators. We begin by turning off the water, so I needed to go into the attic, work out what was supplying the water, and this was an open system unfortunately, and then draining out the radiators. And for most houses I work in, I always hope there is a well located drain valve, and luckily it took a while to find it, but there was one fairly close to the back door. So I put a hose on it and drained it out the house into the drain. So once all of the radiators are drained out, we can start working on them. Getting rid of the old joints by heating them up and melting that solder, and then we're soldering on new joints as well. And yet we're moving the existing radiator, we're pulling it across, we're preparing the new pipes to be soldered in. And here is my bad first soldering attempt that is leaking, so we redid that. And I say we, it was actually my father-in-law did that because he's got a lot of experience in this. In a couple of places I had to use push fit unfortunately, because it would have just been too tight to get a blowtorch under there and solder in anything new, but I did make sure that they weren't leaking once we got the radiators pressured again. And yeah, and now the radiators are in the correct position and we can turn the heating back on. So very interestingly, in this house, when it was originally built, it wouldn't have had central heating, and it has since been put in over the years. In this main bedroom at the front, which is the largest one next to the small one, there's a stud wall in between them, and it's quite a heavy stud wall with lath and plaster, and it's not weight bearing, but it is weighty itself. And it was actually sitting in between 2 of the floor joists on the floorboards that were going in between them. Now, whoever put the central heating in, they just used a saw and went all the way along that joist, in between those 2 joists, and then the wall, this new heavy stud wall, was actually resting in between the 2 joists and only supported on one side of the floorboards. And it explains why when we were taking down this stud wall and plaster, there was so much tape in there for various cracks and fixes. It's because when they cut those floorboards in half, the weight dropped, the floorboards are now dipped, and it caused cracks all the way up the plaster. So it's really good we're actually getting rid of the stud wall, because that was definitely not the right thing to do. And now that we've framed everything out, we're going to get on with plastering too. I'm actually at work today, so here he is FaceTiming me as well to keep me in the loop and ask me important questions that I don't really know the answer to. Plasterboarding away, making sure it all fits, using as few pieces as possible just to make things easier for the plasterer when they come in, and then putting plenty of screws in there that are all supported by the studs. And now I'm back from work. This is the following day. I can replace all the floorboards that were previously completely cut through the central heating and then bent over many years of having that weight on top of them. So entirely new floorboards in between those two joists, fully supported and now very safe to walk on. Oh, and this was the day I also found out from going into the attic and pulling down a bit of the insulation that there were quite a few holes in the roof, unfortunately. So I quickly phoned my roofer. He came round and identified even more holes, and luckily he only charged a couple of £100 just to move the tiles back into position. Now, whenever I'm building a stud wall, I absolutely always insulate it under the plasterboard because there is just no reason not to, really. It's not much cost to buy insulation, even if you buy the cheap stuff. So much difference in terms of noise transfer, especially for things like a bathroom. I'm a bit of a stickler for not having bathroom noises come out the bathroom. So we are definitely making sure that we're getting good insulation in here, and I'm actually using sound insulation too. A little bit more expensive, but well worth it in my opinion. Primarily because this stud wall in the front bedrooms we've got, that's going to have 2 beds either side of it with their headboards basically on either side. So we want as little noise transfer as possible. Oh, and I also realised for this ensuite that I needed to put a light switch in and an isolator switch that I forgot to ask my electrician to do. So I just put in the back box for it, I cut it out of the plasterboard, and I ran through a cable that I had spare. Now this won't be the cable that he's going to use, but he can electrical tape the cable he wants to use to it and pull it all the way through very easily into the attic. And here's Steve poking a copper pipe into the attic so I can see where to feed the cable down into. And then to wrap up this week, we were working on the understairs WC, the water closet. So we wanted to start building this out, at least getting the studs in place so we can get the insulation and plasterboard on ready for the plasterer to come around next week. And when we pulled the skirting board off, we found a lot of mouse poo as well, which did make me wonder whether there were mice still in the house. But as I've said previously, luckily it's been empty for a couple of years. So silver linings for the property being empty is actually that the mice would have probably left because there's no food remaining in the house. I've not seen any other signs of mice, and this mouse poo looks pretty old. And so now it's time to do some work that's really hard to reverse. We're drilling out core holes for the soil pipes and for the waste for the ensuite as well. You can see me here coring the holes for the ensuite. This is going to be one big soil pipe for where the back of the toilet is, and that runs straight into the main bathroom soil pipe that's already there. So we drill a pilot hole first, all the way through the tiles on the other side, and then we core it with the big core drill. And then we've got Steve here doing the smaller hole, which is for the waste of the shower. So this will run out and then join the soil pipe on the other side of the wall. But downstairs we've got a bit of a trickier run because we're trying to get the soil pipe from the WC out the wall into the kitchen, under the step of the kitchen, and then run it under the kitchen cupboards and out near the sink to join the existing soil stack outside. So this was very tricky, but here we have the hole done and we've finally got the pipe outside, and you can see overall how it's going to be underneath that step, and luckily it's got just enough height to have a downward slope. And this goes up and into the WC and will run along the wall to meet the toilet at the end. So just wrapping up episode 3. Been a tough few days actually. We finally got all of the stud work built out, plasterboarded. The plasterer is coming around tomorrow to finally go over that. The electrics are in, which is both the plug sockets, the light switches, the new lights, the extractor fans, the isolator switches for those extractor fans, and then for the interlink smoke alarms as well. That was very important to do. So my electrician, he's put all that in. He's traced away where he needs to. He's got the new plug sockets in too, and we have put insulation, like sound insulation, in between the 2 bedrooms, and overall that's going to be great. Now what Steve and I have been up to whilst my electrician was just finishing off some of the plug sockets is that we have finally gotten some of the soil pipes ready for the downstairs WC, and we've cored the hole ready for the ensuite bathroom too. So altogether that will be pretty much all of the pipes we need. Now usually I would fit the bathroom myself, but I'm thinking this time round, just in the interest of time, because we've got the whole ensuite and a downstairs WC to do. I think I'm going to get a bathroom fit around who can hopefully tile as well. It will just make things so much easier for me because I've got a lot going on at work and I don't know how much time I'll have. So I'm going to get a few quotes from bathroom fitters, but progress has been brilliant. What we've basically got left now is the plastering for tomorrow. I then need to put the radiators back on the walls, the new ones especially, so the new towel rail and the new radiator for the smaller bedroom. We'll have a heating engineer come round. He'll do a full service on the boiler and just make sure everything is working. Then we'll need to start painting everywhere, hopefully on the new plasterboard if that's dry. We'll get all the carpets pulled up, get the interlink smoke alarms just finished off, get all of that certified too, because we can put the final fix on all the plug sockets. Then we can put carpets in, and then finally I think we'll be able to wrap up everything. I actually think we're not too far away. I think we're only like 3 weeks away. Now there is something that I'm working on in the background that might take a bit of time, and it probably requires planning permission, but it's something that I noticed about the property when I first viewed it that has potential to really pay off. I don't really want to talk about it on camera yet because it could jeopardize the plan permission possibly. I reckon it could add quite a bit of value to the house. So I'll be working on that in the meantime. It might take a few weeks, but it's something I can do whilst finishing off everything else, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, great progress. I think we're honestly only a few weeks away from finishing. Yeah, I'm really pleased with this house overall so far. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to keep updated with how this is going. After the house is complete, I'll do a full run through of all the numbers, so what I'm renting it out for, hopefully in the future, what it cost me to purchase it, what it cost me to renovate it, and what the upkeep will be on it going forward. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one.